Hello everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of What If Runescape. Long time no see, I know. But hey, if this is a series that you do want to see more of, leave some suggestions down in the comments of how we can do this a little bit better. Today, we're going to be talking about a hot button issue that pretty much everybody agrees upon, except for Jagex. So it's even weirder that Jagex hasn't taken some steps to help us all out with this. So I figure I'll take a crack at it today with what if quests were updated. The first thing on the list is an easy one for me to explain, mostly because I already have a video describing exactly what I mean. Link in the description. But what we're talking about is, what if quests drop experience lamps for their experience reward instead of forcing you to take the experience? So in this idea, it's not just optional experience, it's getting one of 3 lamps upon quest completion, an experience lamp for combat, for skilling, or for anything. Now, that's going to have a lot of benefits, especially for pures, and you might even come up with a new kind of pure. A true Rendy series of the lower the better could actually happen by not forcing experience, or even just training your least favorite skill through questing. I've yet to see any downside to this change, even though it would be a big one. But if you have a downside, leave it down in the comments. This one here is kind of a problem, but I don't think people see it that way. So whenever you go through long dialogue, it makes you go through long dialogue. You're about to break your spacebar, you know? A lot of games, in fact, I'd say the majority of games have a skip cutscene button. So let's go ahead and add that button. But you might be saying, well, that's not exactly a cutscene, which brings us to the second problem with long dialogues. They should be cutscenes to the point where we've seen several really good ones. Even one of the more recent holiday events would be the best examples. You know, the one where you watch death fade away into the floor. That's exactly how these should be handled, and they should have a one-click skip button in the corner. This would open up a whole new branch of speedrunning, and it's really just accessibility here. So the next problem, again, some people might not even think is a problem, but some of the quests are just put together poorly, and this time it's not a shot at the subject of the quest, but the path you're forced to take. Alright, let me explain. The fact that you're sent to poorly located places several times for different objects across several quests becomes an unnecessary time gap in most cases, and truthfully it undermines your ability to engage with the story. Things like having to go back and forth between Osmond and another character just to go talk right back to Osmond 3 more times, or things like having to talk to somebody in specific places and then they're just all of a sudden in a convenient place after you talk to them in an inconvenient place. It's the fiddling around and the backtracking, and it's the fact that everyone can think of at least one of these instances when I say it. Would it make quests easier? Yes. Would it make it easier by cutting out 5 minutes of useless running around time? Absolutely. And why would anyone think that's necessary? It's kind of beyond me. But let's go ahead and turn our eye to mini quests. It's just outright lazy because they don't have a quest completion screen. And to be 100% honest, most of what happens in many quests should be relegated to a cutscene anyway. Skippy and the Mogres, a quick 5-second thing of him drinking the bucket, turning in 3 books to the Arceus library, small cutscene, him looking at the books and then slams them on the table, walks away. You know, anything. It would just do a lot to give quests life, or at the very least give some completion to the mini quests. Because a lot of the time you're looking at your screen like, oh, did I do that? Now this isn't exactly the agility fix episode, but this goes in it if I ever make that video. And that's gonna be failing agility checks during quests. No, seriously, what's the point? Like in the Underground Pass or in Olaf's quest? Why let RNG determine how long this quest is gonna take? It's frustrating. It's not fun or immersive in any way. So to even argue for this as a feature, in air quotes, seems a bit sadistic, trying to intentionally frustrate your player base with things beyond their control, or at least irresponsible to put on your players. This here is pretty exclusive to a few quests because there's not a lot of quests that require you to grow something, but the ones that do, they really want to make you wait for it. Sometimes upwards of 20 minutes, and I'm sorry, but that's ridiculous. 2 minutes max to prove your point that you have to wait for it to grow. But if you feel the need to leave the area to do something else, you've 100% failed at the quest that you were putting together. You broke quest immersion, and you might also say, wouldn't a tree growing in 2 minutes break quest immersion for you? And you know, that might be a good point if you didn't chop a tree down and it comes back in 30 seconds. In just about every way that you could look at this issue, it becomes apparent that artificial time gaps are just unnecessary. So for our next point, I don't think anyone has ever disagreed with, and if you are the first, leave it down below in the comments. I'm certain other quests have committed this sin too, but none more so than Rag and Bone Man 1 and 2. Actions that you're forced to do should be sped up if it gets anywhere near repetitive. When you're cleaning those bones, it just plain should not take a minute a bone, basically. That could be an exaggeration, but it doesn't feel like it very much. Especially when you gotta do it 30 times. Or even something like getting your bones crushed at the ectofungus. I know I had to watch that animation for almost 5 minutes, so from the bottom of my heart, and nearly every RuneScaper I have ever met, please hurry these animations the f*** up. Okay, we gotta establish something real quick. RuneScape's not a stealth game. Not because I don't like stealth games, not because stealth in an MMO is not, impossible or something, but because this game literally cannot be turned into a stealth game. It's a point and click game. It doesn't have enough dimensions to make that possible. You can't duck, hide, jump, any of that. You can't dive behind cover, you can't assassinate anyone really. Just don't try to be something that you can't be, and you won't do it as terribly as the Rat Catcher's quest. Just about every single time I've snuck around that mansion, my face was more beet red than a tomato 3 days past ready being picked. This might be a hot take, but I hope some of you agree. And last but not least, I could be on the lonely island here, but for this opinion, RuneScape isn't a puzzle game either. That's not to say that puzzle aspects can't be a part of a game, just like stealth aspects can be a part of a game if done well. I'd say here's an example of something that was done poorly, and that's gotta be puzzle boxes. If you're going to have a puzzle, don't just rip a dollar store toy straight out of the checkout line and slap it in your game and then call it good. The puzzle in Fremenic where you have to fill the jugs of water, that's an example of a good puzzle. But I think everybody here can admit the sliding puzzle boxes got to go. And the only reason why they were able to be included in this fixing quest list is because there's one in Monkey Madness. Something almost everyone will do at some point. I just really don't see it as putting our best foot forward. But let me know what you guys think about puzzles down in the comments. So let's go over a quick little recap of what quests might actually look like with these fixes here. First of all, if we rearrange some things in the quest so there's not so much messing around back and forth, some quests would be a little bit easier. If experience was optional, and the experience that was offered was available to a broader range of skills, then a whole new set of pures and strategies would come about through questing. RNG would not determine speedruns, and speedrunning would actually be so much more viable at any level. Now, we didn't change the story, the amount of experience you're supposed to get, but we did improve your overall quality of life during this quest, and probably even helping out the game to have more people do questing in general. It's something that's sorely neglected and very important. So what do you guys think? Can you poke holes in any of these arguments I've made today? Can you think of any ways to improve quests in the future? If you have any suggestions or things that you just plain hate about doing quests, leave it down in the comments, and I might even be able to make a part 2. But otherwise, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later. Don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe.